And welcome everybody. If we haven't met yet, my name is Kevin Ross, and I am here to tell you about the upcoming season. And we have a few panelists that that we've got here, and so we have, and I'm going to let them control their own mutes. So Deb, I'm about to unmute you. Hi Deb, are you there?
Okay. I'm here. I didn't know I was a panelist.
Yeah, now you can talk, but I'm going to let you run your own mute button. We're going to try Susan Martucci. Hi Susan, are you there?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Okay, I'm going to let you run your own mute button. And the last one's Robert Steele.
Oh, okay.
Hi, Robert,
all right.
How are you?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. First day of students, so.
Oh, woohoo! All right.
Thank you.
So I'm going to let all of the panelists run their own mute buttons, so you guys can jump in and tell me that I'm full of correct, or that I might be incorrect. And with that, we'll get started. So here's the agenda for tonight. I want to just touch briefly on some stuff that happened over the summer, just to kind of bring everybody up to speed, what's going on. I want to talk about the basic calendar for the year, and kind of give you an indication when and where things are happening. I want to make sure that everybody's aware of the key FTC and FLL dates as well, so you know what's coming up. We'll talk a bit about grants that we know about. I want to talk about the workshops that we normally do in November, and then we're going to talk about Girls' Generation, which is an event coming up, the FIRSTWA Engineering Challenge, and then a new thing that we've got on our website called Team News. Feel free, again, since there's so many people here, if you've got a question, go ahead and raise your hand, or feel free to type it in the question box, and we'll do our best to get around to you.
Now, right now, we have a Matthew Wang who does have his hand up. I don't know if you want me to watch that, Kevin, and flag you down if someone's been waiting for a while.
Sure, and Matthew just realized that his hand was up, so he just put it down. I figured that was the case.
Okay.
All right. Well, first of all, so over the summer, we had a few interesting things happen. We've done quite a few presentations and public outreach events, and we've been pushing a lot harder this year on First Tech Challenge, but we're also recruiting for FTC and FLL. So we've done a lot over the summer. We're currently doing a lot of county fairs at the moment, and so we're pretty proud of that. We also had Boeing bought us a really nice booth at Seafair, so we had a number of teams down doing a big first exposition for Seafair. And we also had sent some folks over to the WACD conference, the Washington Association of Technical and Career Educators. A lot of our teachers are WACD members, and so we were able to recruit a couple of teams over there. So a lot of things have been happening. I've also been watching that a lot of teams are doing First LEGO League events and First LEGO League camps. Even though we've been a little bit quiet over the summer as far as not trying to pester you with too much email, there is actually quite a bit of stuff happening over the summer, so we're pretty proud of that. The other thing that we spent a great deal of time on this summer was trying to find suitable venues to do FRC. I'll get more into that later, but a lot of thanks needs to go out to a whole lot of people, including Michael Campbell and some of the interns who work with Michael. We did an exhaustive search of the Northwest looking for places to do FRC events, and it was a lot of work, and so we really appreciate their efforts on that. Okay, so let's get to the meat of the situation. I want to make sure everybody's aware of some key dates. TIMS, which is the Team Information Management System, is already open. So if you don't mind, if you could pop by your TIMS account to make sure that you can log in, that's really important. And then also check the emails addresses. We get a lot of bounces because there's a lot of old or incorrect email addresses in the TIMS account. So if you guys would do us the honor of going in and checking those email addresses, make sure they're valid, we really appreciate it. The registration opens on the 27th of September, at 9 a.m. our time, which is noon Eastern. And that is when you get to select your first event. And I advise you to put some thought into where you want to play this year, because there are a couple of changes I'll be talking about. But keep in mind that that 27th is the date that you need to keep your eyes open for. We have also coming up are 2 Girls' Generation events. We're doing one locally here in the Seattle area at Tahoma High School. We're doing another one, or well, I should say Catlin Gable and Deb Mumhill are doing a Girls' Generation event in the Portland area on the 13th of October. And we'll get into more of that later, but it might be something that you will need to think about here pretty quick. Also, we're doing a rookie workshop. The date has not been finalized, but our guess would be probably late October, early November for that. Robert, is that still valid?
Yeah, we just can't do it on the 20th, so we may either do it the week before that or the week after that.
Okay.
So we'll have to try to figure out when that's going to be.
All right.
Probably not November, though.
Yeah. All right. The next key date for us to remember is that, oh, and by the way, this PowerPoint presentation, since everybody's likely to ask, the recording and the PowerPoint presentation, I'll show you where you can get it at the end of this talk. So there you go. The second event registration, if your team would like to play a second time, registration opens on 10/25. So the key thing for everybody to realize is that between 9/27 and 10/25, you really want to register for at least your first event, because starting on that second event, the doors sort of fling wide open, and people will be able to register from across the country, and they oftentimes do. On November 3rd, you may start hearing about this, and I don't have very many details about it yet, but there's a fundraising opportunity that we have, and that's being spearheaded by Michael Campbell and his team of interns. And so, but it may involve some sort of FRC robot race. So keep your ears open for that, and we'll be releasing more information about that as we go along. And then November is when we're planning our usual workshop. We've reserved DigiPen in Redmond on November 10th. And we were also hoping, and I don't see Steve here, we were hoping to get a workshop set up in the Spokane area for either the same day or maybe an adjacent weekend. And so we're kind of looking for volunteers for that. It would be awesome if somebody could help out. So we'll have a little bit more details about those coming up. All right. Other key things that you're going to find on this year's FRC calendar. Kickoffs. Sounds like we're trying to have 5 of them in our state this year. Vancouver, which, Deb, are we doing it in Vancouver, right? I took a guess.
Yeah, I'm going to move it to a college. I was hoping for 2013, but we're going to move it to University of Portland in 2014. So as of now, and that might change in September when all of our mentors get together for their annual meeting, it's at Vancouver at Evergreen High School, where it's been for the last couple of years. Okay, so the Portland Southwest Washington kickoff will be back where it was, and we're also doing Auburn again, which is a nice facility and we're also doing Mount Lake Terrace again. Spokane is going to be a little bit different this year. We're still working on the details, but we do intend to have a full kickoff event in Spokane. And the new one for the year is Wapato, which is sort of near Yakima, for those of you who don't know where it is. And they're looking to recruit 8 teams or so to make it an official and sanctioned kickoff event. So if you are out in the center of the state and think that Wapato is a good place for you to be on January 5th, we'd love to hear from you, and
if we can get 8 people to commit to going to Wapato, we'll make that happen. And actually, I see, did I see Chris or Randy? I saw Randy. Randy, I'm about to unmute you. We'll see what happens if you have a microphone. Randy, you there? Yeah, I can hear you typing.
You can hear me? Oh, okay. I thought I didn't have a mic.
No.
Yes, I am. I didn't have a mic. That's why I was thinking I didn't have anything.
Okay.
Yes, I am here. We are looking to try to get some teams to come so that we can have the event here. We're in the process of working to have the alternative high school have the gym there, as well as being able to have schools spend the night at the school and in the various areas right there. So if they want to spend the night at the school, we're trying to get that all set up for the ability to have students or teams camp out with us. And then we're going to have one of our local groups are going to be providing breakfast.
Awesome. So I'm, and if you're thinking, hey, we'd like to do that, I'm about to wapatosd.org. If you look in the chat window, that's Randy Wheeler's email address. If your team is thinking about going, think you may want to go to that Central Washington kickoff, there's his email address. If you could just ping them and let them know so they kind of know if others are planning on it. Does that sound like a good plan, Randy?
Yes, that sounds excellent.
Okay, great. Thanks. I'm going to mute you one more time. There we go. All right. And then we had a number of, well, we used to call them pre-shipping events. I guess we'll call it pre-shipping or pre-bagging events. And you can pretty much rely on the fact that there's likely to be one maybe at Aviation and probably down at Soda and in various venues. Does that sound about right, Robert?
Yeah, we're going to definitely do one. It may be our last one because when we move to the new school, we don't have a gym anymore. So definitely we'll definitely do one this year.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so those are sort of the key dates. And now I'm about to tell you something that I'm going to mute Deb so that she doesn't hear this. What I'm about to share with you, these are not announced or official or anything like that. So don't make any plane reservations. Don't do anything that, you know, I am good, but I do want to give you a heads up on sort of when things are happening because I know a lot of you are trying to plan stuff. However, so all of this is subject to change. All of this is not our decision, but this is kind of what the schedule looks like this year. Portland is likely to be week 2, and we are likely to do Central Washington University, which is in Ellensburg, week 4, CenturyLink Field, week 5, and Cheney on week 6. And I kind of gave a rough stab, and again, all of this is subject to change, but that's my guess at the size of these events. You'll notice that CenturyLink is a 64-team event this year based on a whole bunch of factors, one of them being that the rotten bleachers that nobody likes and complains about every year cost us like $56,000 to rent. We decided to actually downsize that event to 64 teams so that we can use just the nicer seats. It also reduces a whole bunch of overhead on us. So that's the plan at the moment. Again, all subject to change. And then the Cheney event is the only week the venue was available was week 6. So that's kind of what we're looking like at the moment. Again, you'll need to wait for FIRST to make the official announcement, and they'll probably yell at me for telling you this anyway, but we won't get to talk again for a month, so I just wanted to fill you in on what it looks like. Any questions?
So let me ask Kevin.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kevin, do you know when, given the fact that the 29th of September, which is less than a month away, or pretty close to a month away, do you have any idea when they'll make these official?
I believe they usually do it the first week or so of September. This is a far more complicated thing than you would imagine. They are wrangling the resources they have, which are 10 traveling trucks and production crews, versus the venues that are available. My guess is that we're pretty accurate on this, but I would guess that FIRST is going to need to release that decision within a week or two.
Okay, thank you.
I'll jump in. I think we're looking pretty solid. I mean, it could change, but because we work with everything east of Denver, and so when you look at Arizona and Denver and California and Utah regionals, we don't stack too much on each other so that we can work those trucks up and down the West Coast, if that makes sense. So
Yeah.
we're looking good. We're
looking good. I agree. So, yeah, so while it isn't official, I wouldn't have just put this out unless I was pretty confident in this. It turns out that, so after our grand tour of all of the potential venues in Western Washington, we were kind of surprised at how few there actually are. And so we're happy to go back to CenturyLink. It is a very expensive venue for us. Central and Cheney are much more reasonable. And actually, to be honest with you, I'm really excited about the Central Washington one. It's a, you know, a lot of us travel anyway, and it turns out travel to Central Washington, it's about 2 hours from Seattle, it's about 2 hours from Spokane, and the hotels are actually pretty reasonable and inexpensive, and I think you'll find it's actually a really nice venue. We were over a couple of months ago, or about a month ago, and they're excited to have us and start forming a relationship with FIRST in the center of the state. So I'm actually quite excited about it. And then we also still have an event in Seattle, which I thought was really important, so that we can keep our media coverage and keep the costs down for a lot of our teams. So there you go. Belabored to death. Any other questions? Okay. So I'm going to switch gears real quick and just make sure everybody's aware of the key FIRST Tech Challenge dates. The FIRST Tech Challenge's kickoff is actually a week from Saturday. So we're going to be at the Museum of Flight. It looks like we've got almost a full house already, but there's always room for more. We can love to have a little standing room only happening. The FTC, unlike FRC, has sort of a soft start date. And the reality is most teams won't actually get themselves going until right about the beginning of October. The tournament season itself is going to start November 17th. We currently have events scheduled on November 17th, December 1st, December 8th, and December 15th in various locations. And I give you a big grain of salt on all this because we're still wrestling with venues, and a lot of this is subject to change. We are very excited, however, that I believe our state championship is going to be January 12th at Bellevue College. It might be the 12th and 13th, where, again, their schedules for the year have not entirely been set. So there's a lot of stuff happening here in the FTC world. I would encourage you, if you're looking for something for your FRC students to do at the beginning of the year, I really think that FTC is a great way to get a lot of students engaged and started with a completely reasonable project that they can do. We've scheduled the state championship on January 12th so that we don't interfere too much into the FRC season. We have a lot of FRC teams that actually do both programs. There are OSPI grants available for this, and I misspelled Murdoch, and I apologize about that. There are also probably going to be some Boeing grants if your team has a Boeing mentor, and if you've got teams who have a student or two, or the whole team who was in FLL and is moving to FTC, there's a grant available to help make that transition. The details of all of that due to a technical glitch today, I was unable to get that page up on our website, but it should be up in the next day or two. So I think that's a great idea. First Lego League.
Now, Kevin, before you go off topic, it looks like there's also going to be an inventor course for FTC teams on September 15th.
Oh,
at
cool.
LWIT. Heidi sent a message.
Heidi's got a microphone, so I'm going to unmute Heidi for a sec. Hi, Heidi.
Hi.
So tell what do we got?
So I've been working with Lake Washington Technical College to put together a inventor course for FTC teams who don't have access to otherwise, and they are eager to have it done. So we are looking at probably an 8 to 5 intensive course.
Okay.
Free. We have only 15 seats at this point. We may have more if we need to, but we're finalizing details, and I'll be sending an email probably sometime this week or early next week.
Okay, cool. Thanks. We'll let the FTC teams know that as well. So,
yes.
All right. Let's talk about key FLL dates. September 9th, which is a week from Sunday, is the kickoff at the Museum of Flight. And so the FLL guys are hard at work trying to get all that set up. There are details up on our website. The tournament structure this year changed, and for FLL, we used to do all of the events on one date, and Kevin and Willem, who are our FLL experts, have come up with a new strategy, and I don't know that it's completely fleshed out yet, but these are the dates that they've given me to publicize. So there they are. If your team is planning on doing First Lego League stuff, these are the dates that they've given me. So these are all, by the way, also volunteer opportunities for your students. Nothing looks better on your Chairman's Award than working an FLL event. So if you guys are gunning for Chairman's or any of the other awards, it'd be a good idea to get that covered by volunteering. We don't have anything ready for volunteers to jump in with quite yet, but keep that in mind and keep your ears open for that. We will have, by the end of next month, we will have our volunteer needs pretty well settled, and we'll let you know where we need folks. Okay, there are grants available, and boy, at least I'm consistent with the misspelling of Murdoch. We have Murdoch and OSPI grants for First Lego League as well, and there will be a form up on our website where you can apply for that. And let's
Kevin, are those?
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Are the Murdoch grants also only 7th and 8th grade, or is it just OSPI?
Oh, no, OSPI is 7th and 8th only. Murdoch is not.
Okay.
And I believe some of you have had Intel grants in the past. I do not have confirmation that they're doing it this year. However, so I wasn't willing to publish it, but stay tuned. My guess is that the Intel grants will also be back. And that's for Pierce and Thurston County teams. All right. FRC grants. That's the ones that you actually wanted to know about. We have OSPI grant package 424. It's an I grant. And so it's the same one that we did last year. There's up to $3,000 for veteran teams and up to $7,000 for rookie teams. If you are eligible for this and you would like this grant, please apply for it. Even if you don't get it, by applying for it, you are helping us make the case that we need more funding from the state. We're working on that right now, but the best way for us to prove that we need additional help funding this thing is by not being able to give away money to all of you. So I know that it is a little bit of work, and I know some of your teams haven't had a veteran grant in quite some time, but if you please help us out by filling in that grant so that we can pound on our legislators. The deadline for it is on 9/14/2012. I believe it's at 5 p.m., but don't quote me on that. Somebody needs to go look at the iGrant package It's on the OSPI website. It's also, if you look on, hang on a sec. I can't get my web browser. There it is. If you look on the FIRSTWA website, under FRC and FRC grants, we've listed out the ones we know about. You can find that OSPI inventory right here. We also, we haven't received word yet on Murdoch grants, whether those are here or not this year. I'm going to let Michael take care of that, but keep an eye on this webpage and he will be telling us what is available. NASA grants, hey Deb, have you heard anything about NASA grants? And if you could be a little closer to your microphone, people were having troubles hearing you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is this better?
Yeah, a little bit louder. There you go. Yep.
Okay, I'll talk louder. So no, nothing on the NASA grants. You know, we did have that $20 million grant package for multiple years. So I'm assuming it will come back. It's just that we have to keep pushing them forward to get that posted. And just my inside take on it with all the activities on Mars, because a lot of the people who do those grant pieces are working on the Mars launches or the Mars work up there, that it's going to be late. So usually mid-September, and they close by October, and we try to get them to post by end of October, but I think even lately they've been posted in November. So I guess I don't really have any information except that we should be able to count on them. They're just going to probably be one of the last grants posted.
Remember, folks, and we love him to death, but this is administered by Mark Leone, so you never know what's going to happen.
Exactly.
Okay, and we should have, the Boeing grants should be back. So if you have a Boeing employee as a mentor, they should be getting a hold of Boeing about that. There is a first forum on the Boeing Employees Wiki. Whoops, and I got all sorts of questions coming up here. And we will, I haven't gotten any information to the contrary, so I believe last year's information was there. So I am going to, David, I'm going to click unmute you here. You there? Hi, David.
Hi, how are you?
Good. What's up?
Hey, back on the OSPI, is that just public schools only?
Yes, thank you. OSPI is public schools. Public schools only.
All right, thank you.
Yep. And then I'm going to go find Jody. There's Jody. Hi, Jody. Do you have a microphone? I can hear you. And she might not be there. Okay, well, I'm going to lower your hand. If you got a question, raise your hand again. Okay. All right, so yeah, so the Boeing grants are also still there. We should all be out doing our thing, doing whatever we can to fundraise, and we'll keep you posted. Bezos grants, we haven't, is another grant that we haven't heard any details on yet, but it's still early. We usually find out about all of these grants a little bit later in September, but this is currently the status that we've got for you. Okay. Moving right along. Oh, I guess I have to minimize this. There we go. So let's talk about what we now, normally we have workshops in November, and I would love this year to update the materials that we've got. I know, and I'm just as guilty as everybody else, but I will admit that I use the same slide deck that I've been using since 2003, and I realize I need to update it. So what we kind of need to do is find some teams, and this is a great opportunity for the students, by the way, find some teams who would like to come up with some new and more relevant or more interesting or more updated materials on how to do certain things. The range of topics is pretty open. We'd love to hear you hear almost any topic that you'd like to put forth. Remember that we're trying to appeal to new and existing teams, and keeping in mind that, you know, even the oldest team here the most experience anybody's got on it is about 4 years, and everybody's really averaging about 2. So, a nice mix of topics for advanced folks and nice topics for new folks. Love to hear your teams think about that and come up with a proposal. There's going to be a form on our website, and is this it? And it will be under workshops. Oh, sorry about that, big flash there. You'll be clicking, when you click on workshops, once I get the form up there, it isn't there at the moment. But once I release that, it'll be like in the next day or two. There's a bug in our website content management system that's causing me grief at the moment. But once we get that updated, we will be accepting proposals, and I'd love to have some teams take this on, and specifically some students take this on. Randy is asking about JCPenney grants. I believe that the JCPenney grants, you know what? I don't have enough information at the moment. If you have a I don't rely on applying for a new JCPenney grant at the moment. There's been some leadership changes at JCPenney, and we don't know the status. They've been a great partner for us in the past, and I know that the local stores are still trying to come up with ways to help us out, but at the corporate level, JCPenney's been hemorrhaging so much money this year that I don't know how much support they're going to give us coming back. Again, these are details I don't really know. Does that sound about right, Deb?
Yeah, I can answer that one for you. So there's going to be no rookie grants, really, unless you're in a very remote area that's within 19 miles that Roseanne can deal out. So we aren't doing anything with JCPenney corporate. They gave us a $1.5 million, end of grant blessing. So we get to administer at first how that's going to be decided. So no more contact with the store managers unless a team had a really, really close relationship. They can follow up, but it's not being mandated down from the top. And teams that were rookies last year who got the $6,500 get $2,000 this year. And then teams that were going to be were second-year teams last year who received the $2,000 get the $1,000. That will automatically be put into your account in TIMS to go towards your payment. And then the thing that is not 100% clear is pennies was allowed. It was the one grant that could be passed through by the IRS and used as cash. So if you get a Boeing grant and a JCPenney's or a NASA and JCPenney's, then JCPenney's should be able to be re-granted back. But that's with a kind of a, air quotes, I think that's correct, that it can be a pass-through at that point. So did that make sense? $2,000
Yes.
for second-year teams, $1,000 for third-year teams, and you don't even have to do anything for it. It's just going to be credited into your TIMS account. And then if you get another Murdoch or Boeing or NASA grant, you should be able to turn it into cash.
Okay.
Kevin, I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
What happened to the Boys and Girls Club? Remember that was mentioned at the championships. Is there any movement on that in our area or anywhere else that you know of?
Deb, have you heard anything?
Depends what the RD makes happen. So big announcement, but there was no cash. So nobody said, we're going to do this alliance and here's $2 million or $1 million to make it happen. So when I started delving into some of the Boys and Girls Clubs here in Oregon, even the Portland Metro ones, it's really fascinating because some are very well funded, like the Trailblazers one or the Intel one, and then there's little, they have a very funky franchising kind of method that everybody kind of scraps for their own dollars. It's not like one state entity raises money and then equitably doles it out to all the different clubs. So what I found is it's kind of like a needle in a haystack. I have to find the club that has some cash to put towards it. So it's kind of been slow going, and I would have to say a little disorganized on the launch side just because there was no cash behind it.
Okay, thank you.
So yeah, that That's exactly what I know. So I backed Deb up. That's exactly what I've heard as well. So,
And,
okay.
and Michael may be doing some really great, yeah, and check with Michael. He might be doing some really fantastic meetings up there and found some clubs with a lot of philanthropy and cash behind it. But in Oregon, I came up pretty dry.
Yeah, we've had no luck either. So we haven't pursued it that hard, I'll be honest. Okay, and then Jody was asking for the OSPI grant, what is the deadline to apply for FTC? It turns out that for FLL, FRC, and FTC, the deadline is all on 9/14, which is Friday, 9/14. FLL and FTC will find out their grant status, how much they get, probably within a week. FRC is going to take a little bit longer. It may be up to a month, and it's just last year we were there for 14 hours grading applications, and we were unable to do that again this year because there's going to be more. So anyway, all right. I think okay. So for Central or for the East Side, we'd really love to get a tradition of the similar workshops to what we're doing started on the other side. And we've got some members of the Skunk Works, Steve Burke in particular, is interested in going over and helping, but we kind of need some folks east of the mountains to sort of step up and go, okay, what can we put together? It may be smaller than what happens on the west side. The reality is that when we started doing these things, oh my God, it was 9 years ago. It started out small and simple, and it's just sort of kept growing. So I think that's the right model to take. Is, hey, we're going to have a workshop. Come on over, especially new or second or year teams, and come let us show you what we did, and let the team sort of share with each other. It's a great way to start building the first community, and it really isn't that much work to put together, especially if you can get enough volunteers. So I would, if you are interested, please be feel free to email me. Now, some of you have never been to one of the workshops, and so let me tell you what it is. What we do is we get together as a group, and we will have various members, mentors, students hold classes. And so, for example, at DigiPen, we'll probably use about 14 classrooms, and we'll have 1 hour long sessions that topics range everything from fundraising to software, pneumatics, how to design a drive base, how to scout, how to do community outreach, ways to keep your team sustained. There's just a weird, eclectic mix of, not weird, but a very eclectic and broad mix of topics. So we usually run 4 sessions a day, so there'll be a 10 a.m. and an 11 a.m. session that both last an hour. We have a lunch break. We have 1 p.m. and 2 p.m. So you're able to go to up to 4 of these workshop sessions, and we sort of rotate things around. So did that make sense to you, Tom? I was answering a question, by the way, in case you're wondering.
So Kevin?
Yeah.
One of our goals this year for our team, again, if you talk to Steve, is that we support both of the Central and the Spokane workshops pretty heavily.
Yeah.
So you can count on us for whatever is necessary. But it would be great to have some other teams participate so they can get some more variety. But we are pretty much willing to do whatever it takes to get those workshops to happen. So
awesome. Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah. And we've got volunteers now showing up from Wapato and Tom. I'm not exactly sure what team Tom is from, but yeah. So we've got some volunteers typing in here. My email address. Oh, you're from 488. Oh, okay, cool. We need team leaders from. We need session leaders for for all of these things. So I'm answering another question. So we need them for the west side and the east side. And Eric Grossoff from West Valley 2147 is happy to host and organize kickoff and stuff. So if you all would like, you can send me an email. My email address is now in the chat window, and I will try and coordinate a nice group of people who can get together and sort of handle the east side of the state. The DigiPen workshop, Kim is asked, is it the same as the leadership workshop in August? No, well, sort of in its layout, but the topics are quite a bit different. So yes, it is a similar format of 1 hour sessions, and we sort of rotate through them. Okay, I think that's all of the, did I miss any questions, Adrian? I think we're good. Okay, and are we looking to do workshops during kickoff? This is the preseason workshops in November, Randy, that I'm talking about here directly. However, if during your kickoff you would like to hold a workshop, please feel free to do that, especially for rookie teams. It's great to or rookie teams and newer teams. It's great to have everybody sort of sit in the room, get out the little bits and pieces and see how to put them together. It's very, very useful. Okay, I'm going to move on here. Girls' Generation. So it's an event so nice, we're doing it twice. We're doing it on September 29th at Tahoma High School, and we're doing it October 13th at Catlin Gable. So Washington First Robotics is taking care of the Tahoma one, and Catlin Gable, Marina is going to help me out. And so Marina, I'm about to unmute you. Here we go. Hi, are you there? Do you have a microphone? Marina does not have a microphone. Okay, so Marina and her team that are the ones organizing this, and at Catlin Gable, and Adrian Riney.
Okay,
Oh, there you are. Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay, sorry, my bad.
No worries. I was never actually clear. How would teams go about signing up for Girls Gen at Catlin Gable?
Oh, so we haven't posted like an official thing, but just like last year, what we had was everyone who wanted to send an email to our head mentor, Dale Yoakum, and we're doing it, it's free, so, and you probably get free t-shirts. Yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, with your team number, team name, and for the t-shirts, just an idea if teams have like, we'll post more information with this on the Oregon First website pretty soon, but if you guys have an idea of how, like what size t-shirts you'd want, that would be nice to include the email too.
Okay.
Just so we get enough.
Cool. Now, so in case you haven't been to a Girls' Generation event before, the idea here is that we want the girls to come out and take center stage and be the drivers and drivers of the team, the drivers of the robot, and hopefully the mechanics. Now, you can bring the guys if you want, but we really are hoping that you can get your girls out there and let them feel the excitement and the glory of being in charge. So that's the goal.
Guys make great cheerleaders.
Guys make great cheerleaders?
Uh-huh.
They build great pyramids. So the first year
Pig mice, shout out
I spent $120 on Oriental Trading getting pom-poms and handed them out to the guys, and we did a little cheer competition. They were kind of shy the first year, but the second year, they basically know how to build a human pyramid. Their rhyming and jumps aren't so great, but it's hysterical, and it actually, they're high school kids, so girls like to be around guys, so it's, it's one of those kind of events where we're trying to attract more girls to the program.
Absolutely. And the cool thing this year is we are, Washington and Oregon are, teaming up to bring out a real FRC field. So this is a real live field with control system. And we are going to be training volunteers on how to run things. So we're going to run this as close as we can to a real FRC event. And it ought to be a lot of fun. So and so the same thing is happening on September 29th at Tahoma High School. And if you are interested in finding out more info on the Tahoma one, if you go to our website and go to events and go to Girls Generation, more details are here, and a link to the official website are there. So
yeah, and right now we're taking 2014. So right now we have 20 registered. We are charging $200, but you know, we're looking for it to be a lot of fun, and you know, if I can put our Girls Gen email in the chat box too, if anybody has any questions, you can feel free to send an email to our Girls Gen email, and we can help you out with that.
Yeah.
You know, we're doing the same thing. We're having T-shirts and everything at ours. I've had some people pre-order, those who don't. You know, right now it's kind of first come, first serve. We've already ordered shirts, but we're going to try and accommodate sizes for everybody.
Okay. That's yeah.
I have a question for Deb. Do you want more teams down at the Portland event? Do you need more teams, or do you have enough to fill it out with the group you have down there?
Marina, what did we have? Did we have 24 teams or 22 come last year?
Yeah, I think we had 22-ish. There's space in the tennis courts for probably, I don't know, like 5 more. We definitely couldn't do any more than 30.
How many do you have right now? Or I guess you haven't.
Well,
you don't have any,
yeah, we
right?
haven't started registration yet, but last year we had 22.
Okay.
22, and so we have 2 indoor tennis courts. So one will have the playing field, the other one you go up 5 steps, and we built a ramp for it this year, and then there's that's your pit area. So it's kind of a how many people can fit in the space type of issue. But yeah, last year Tahoma was besides the Vancouver teams that came down, Tahoma was there, and thus you guys are having a girls' generation because they loved it and ran.
That's right. We had so much fun, and our male mentors wore wigs.
Oh yeah, I remember you guys.
Yes, and they were out doing a cheer, and they wore wigs. So
we're hair for you.
Yes, bare metal. We are hair for you. It was the worst cheer ever, but you know, you gotta love them for wearing the wigs.
So it's what it is, Robert, and anybody who's on the call, is that when we did this, let's see, Marina launched it 3 years ago. All the mentors came up to me and said, gosh, we should have done this years ago, because it really does bring the girls in. A lot of the girls do their own special T-shirt, because maybe 2 girls from one small team will join up with another team so that they can have a drive team, or at least they have a working robot. So it's kind of intercollegiate in a way, but they identified themselves. Like, you'll see a lot of bright pink T-shirts out there. So it's just a really fun team building event in the fall for the girls. And we don't have an event for the boys to run their robots in Oregon, and that's been a tradition. We've always been at the Oregon Museum of Science and Industry doing the scrimmage. But I think, you know, they'll be fine. They'll get over it.
Yeah, that's great.
So, anyway, Robert, you're welcome to come down if you guys want. So, but you might have gotten your playtime.
Well, we're going to be going to Tahoma for sure, but if you need another team, we have a bunch of girls, and we almost have enough to have 2 girls teams actually.
Well,
and
keep in mind. Oh, go ahead, Marina.
Skunkworks, right?
Yeah, right.
Oh, that'd be really fun. You guys should come.
And all of you guys, keep in mind, if you don't have enough to form a full team, you know, email Marina or email our Girls Gen account, because we can certainly put groups together so that your students can compete. We have some teams. 488 said that they'd be happy to take some rookie girls. I believe, you know, Robert Steele has volunteered some of their girls. We in the past have had extra girls. So we want everybody to be able to participate. If you have girls that want to participate, we want to make that happen.
Well, we also have an extra robot, so it's exactly like the other one, which a team could have and use. And I mean, they'd have to learn how to drive it pretty quick, but pretty easy to drive. So.
Yeah, so what we're thinking is we might open, I don't know if this would apply to you guys, but it might be a good idea to open it up so people can bring their robots on Friday, like the day before, and obviously we have to check the FMS and everything because that's going to be great. So that would be like if teams are trading off robots, they could practice there or just meet up in their labs or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So, Robert, what would be great for you guys with extra robots is to reach out to the rookie teams that are in that area and say, bring your girls on over. Because, you know, anytime you start a rookie team, you end up with 14 boys and 2 girls, you know, first year out of school. So it could be a really nice recruiting event, and it'll look nice on your chairman. So that's the way I would handle it. You can seed another robot and have the $200 to put into it.
Sure. I mean, whatever you guys need, we'll be happy to do. It's interesting because when we first started Skunkworks, on our very first set of goals for the first year was to host a girls tournament, but we could never pull it off by ourselves, and it's really great that you guys are doing it now, and I mean, we'll be happy to do whatever we can to make them successful. So.
Great. It'll be your favorite off-season event up there. You'll fall in love with it. It's really fun. A lot of squealing. Kevin, are you with us? I'm worried about
Yeah, where do you go?
He's still there.
Yeah, I see him.
I mean, he's still, yeah.
Oh, sorry, I muted myself. You missed a lovely speech. It was stunning. Thank you all for jumping in there. Okay, we do have other fantastic things going on for preseason. One of them is a contest that we call the FIRSTWA Engineering Challenge, and I am going to turn this over to our lovely FIRSTWA Engineering Challenge manager, Adrian Riney, and you can tell us what's what.
And I'm actually going to unmute Darren because he's the one who's going to do most of the talking about the FIRSTWA Engineering Challenge. Darren, are you there?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, the FIRSTWA Engineering Challenge was instituted last year as an opportunity for teams to practice some engineering skills before the FRC season. One of the things we often see at competition is teams struggling with some fundamental learnings of engineering that if they maybe knew beforehand, they wouldn't have the struggles that they do at competition. And so the challenge last year was based on motors and their proper use. And it was actually a pretty tough challenge. And myself and the committee who developed the challenge last year learned a lot from it because we had a lot of teams want to do the challenge and realize that some of the math and science behind understanding the problem was pretty hard, and it was tough for people to finish the full challenge. And so this year we thought a lot about that and how we can support teams but still help them get a good learning experience from it. And so this year we have a challenge, and our team will participate as we did last year, and in fact it will give our students opportunities in design, fabrication, programming, and the math and science behind the actual challenge. And so kids will work on this challenge with their mentors, and they will give actually kind of like a chairman's type presentation, but instead of chairman's concepts, they'll be talking about engineering concepts and the actual engineering behind their design. And so we think it's going to be a lot more doable for teams, and we're just trying to get teams to look at this as an opportunity to not only get their students up to speed, but the mentors as well. And in fact, this is meant for the mentors as much as the students, because we see a lot of teams that are sponsored by teachers that who aren't engineers. I myself am not an engineer, and so I've learned a lot through doing FIRST over the years, but and there's a lot of things that I guess I wish I would have known as a science teacher, in the engineering field, and basically many of the things I've had to learn the hard way or learn from other teams. And so the purpose of this is to get teams prepared for competition and give some real active competition-like things before the FRC season.
Well, and keep in mind, we don't want it to be an additional cost, so most of what we're doing, the things you'd be using would be out of your kit of parts. And I mean, we don't want people to be doing a lot of fundraising to work on this challenge. It's meant to better prepare the students for the FRC build season.
Correct. You could take some scrap aluminum and some of the parts from the FRC kit and compete fully in this challenge. In fact, most of the points awarded in the challenge is actually done through the math and the presentation of the engineering behind your mechanism. And so this year we're having the rollout on October 15th is when we'll give the full details of the challenge, and then the competition will be on December 8th.
And we'll have a mentor training on October 17th. So the mentors can join us for a webinar where we'll go over a lot of the tools needed to help the students with the challenge.
And the goal that we're really working for this year, the FEC committee, is to support mentors fully. So if you have questions, we don't expect every team to have an expert in programming and electrical engineering and mechanical engineering, but the goal is to share this information among mentors. And so it's not supposed to be secretive or anything like this. It's really supposed to be a learning experience for everyone. And in my opinion, this year's challenge will be a very useful competition and prepare you well for mechanisms that you would build in the FRC competition.
I put, if anybody has any questions or wants any more information, I put an email address for FIRSTWA FEC in the chat.
I don't know if we have time for this, but I just wanted to mention that this reminds me of something that we do in Oregon called Bunny Bots, which some of you might be familiar with, but it's basically like an FRC competition, 12-week build season, and then we do the one-day competition on like December 18th or whatever. So so far we've just had that in Portland, but we make up our own rules every year, and it's pretty fun. But if anyone up in Seattle is interested in doing something like that, we release the rules in like a week, so feel free to contact me or Dale.
Good. And I guess just to clarify, this is not an FRC competition. It wouldn't be building a robot to compete. It would be a specific mechanism, but most of the learning, it's basically an engineering thing that we really don't have time in the 6-week build season to do a lot of the real engineering. And so this is an opportunity for mentors and kids to do the calculations, do the math, and see that, hey, maybe I can do a lot of the math and make predictions when the FR season comes out a lot quicker. A lot of the critical calculations that you need to do on can I lift this piece or whatever can be done on a whiteboard in 5 minutes if you have the background in the engineering, and some of those things are critical for successful robots.
Yeah, speaking from experience, our team participated last year, and it really did help us going into the build season. Students had a lot better knowledge of, not just blindly going ahead and picking whatever motor or whatever which we don't generally do anyway, but it really did allow us to use some of the expertise from some of the students that were better in math skills and some were better in mechanical skills, and I highly recommend any team really try to do this, because it was great for our team last year, I know.
No, yeah, this sounds really great. We might think of something like this for Oregon too, because I really like the idea.
Or this is Deb. Can Oregon teams participate? Do you have the bandwidth to pick up? We might maybe have 6 teams this year who might be interested in doing it. Oh,
absolutely, Deb. If there's Oregon teams, we'll be sending something out on probably PNW First. You're on there, aren't you? So then you can just forward it if you're interested to teams. We could certainly handle it.
Thanks.
Okay, and if your team is interested in learning more, I brought it up here, obviously. Look under FIRSTWA.org, events, FEC, under documents, and you can see the challenge from last year. All the documents are up there. You're welcome to look. All right.
I guess just...
And don't be daunted. Last year's challenge was a little bit too hard, and it was our first year, and it was a learning experience. So I don't want people to see this and get scared away. We've changed the format a little bit because we've learned quite a bit from last year.
Okay. The last thing, or well, last two things I want to talk about are we have something now called, on our website, it's brand new, it's called the team news page. So here's the theory. Back when there were a dozen teams, we kind of knew what everybody was doing, and it was easy to keep track of, and we were able to give kudos to teams for doing all the really cool stuff that it involves being a first team. Now there are so many teams now, it's really difficult for us to keep track, and I think it's kind of a shame because we're not able to share with each other what it is that we're doing and what are the things that other teams could emulate. So a thought I had was, well, they should be able to tell us about it. So we created a part of our website for teams to submit little news articles, if you will, or little write-ups of what it is that they've been doing. I just put this up last week, so there's only 2 things in there at the moment. But if you go up here under news, you can see that there are, well, there are only 2 articles. Neobots wrote one as a test article, and I wrote one also as a test article. Your team is welcome to establish an account on Washington First Robotics. There's instructions on how to do that right up here at the top. And the idea is that, the idea is that once they log in, you'll be able to come in and post an article. And there's a nice, it's a really straightforward little article editing system that is probably going to crash because I'm doing a demo online. Oh, there it is. So basically, you just sort of fill in this little web form. It's a nice little word processor. It's all very, very simple. And then once you've done that, it will show up in this list of articles. Our goal eventually is, and we're going to try and get this up and running in the next month, what we'd like to do is to have a system where teams can start reporting the activities they're doing, whether it's community outreach, did they get a hit in the news, have they written technical articles, have they held FLL camps, those sorts of things, or have they posted a news article. And we'll start tracking this on the website, and you'll be able to see a graph of what some of the teams are doing. And I don't want to call it a competition, but it'd be really cool, you know, as you'll see where your team is in comparison to the other teams that are doing things. And my ultimate goal is that the kids will kind of get a little bit of the competitive spirit going, hey, what can we do to get this number up a little bit? What are the other teams doing? So the key to this whole thing is for all of us to be telling everybody what it is that we're doing. And I'm hoping that that'll allow teams who are maybe not as active at the moment and just don't realize that there is a lot of extra stuff going on in the FIRST community. It'll give them a little incentive or a little idea about what's going on and what it is that they could do to sort of get themselves on par. So that is sort of the working theory behind this. And the bigger project is called the Team Activity Report, and that'll also be up here. And we're working on the forms for that right now. And then you'll also be able to see a chart. But in the meantime, we'd love to start filling this in. So if your team would like to participate, like I said, there are fairly simple instructions on how to do it. There's a little YouTube video on how to actually write and edit the article, and all the instructions are up here. We're hoping that this is done by team. So like the login name, for example, is going to be, you know, FRC 1039 or FRC 2003. And also, we want FTC teams to also do this. So this isn't just FRC, this is for FTC as well. Anyway, I'm hoping that I'd like to try this. I'd like to mostly be able to give teams in outlying areas a chance to report what it is they're doing, because FIRST teams do stuff all year long, and we just don't hear about it, and I think that's kind of a shame. Is the news for FLL teams as well? So the answer at the moment is no, and the reason is it gets a little dicey when you start collecting information from sub-13-year-olds. And so at the moment, there are some laws against that, and I just don't know how to handle that. So at the moment, we're kind of hoping that this is mostly for age 13 and above. Okay, so basically, this is the sort of stuff that we want to hear about. We'd love to have your teams jump in and try doing this. It's a great side project, or it's not even a side project. This is a great project for some of your team members who might not be into the technical stuff, but your PR people. Plus, hey, you know, it's always cool to be able to send a link to somebody who, you know, hey, you know, here, we're published on the web, right? So that is that. I promised to be done by 8:30, so I'm going to, I think we're actually getting pretty close here. At this point, I guess I'm kind of done. The next meeting that we're going to have is going to be the last Thursday of September, which according to my, I got to drag my email out here.
September 27th.
Is it the 27th?
Yeah, because the 29th is Girls Gen, and that's a Saturday, so the 27th would be the last Thursday.
Okay, so yeah, okay, last Thursday. You are right, 27th. So we'll be having another one on the 27th. We'll be able to tell you more details about things that we calendar completely nailed by that point, and answers to all sorts of other questions. Okay, I am now open for questions. What didn't I answer? I'm available. What do you want to know?
Are you unmuting everybody, Kevin, or raising hands?
Oh, yeah. You can either raise your hand or type a question in the chat box. Or if we're done, we're done.
While people are thinking, can I just bring up, if this is going to be Portland's event, it's going to be our 10th anniversary, so we're really excited about that.
Woohoo.
So I know a lot of the three-digit teams from Washington. You know, we're a big part of starting Oregon event, or being at the event 10 years ago. So what I'm really trying to do is track down alumni students. Find out where they're at, you know, where they're working, invite them back for a VIP, you know, kind of an alumni bash, 10th year anniversary. So I'll be sending you guys things out on that. But just if you're running into any kids before they head back to college, you know they were with us 10 years ago, please let them know we have a party planned in Portland. And I want to find a couple of really good student speakers who were with us 10 years ago to do some keynote pieces for us. So that's all.
Cool.
A nice call tonight, Kevin. I'm going to jump off. So great job, you guys. I missed everybody up in Washington, but hopefully we'll see you guys. We'll cross paths here in the next few months. So take care.
Thanks, Deb. Okay, somebody is asking where the slides are going to be. And, oh, crap, I'm doing this. Oh, well, I guess you get to watch me upload a file. Sorry about that. I thought I was somewhere else. But so with that, ignore what I'm doing now. Do we have other questions?
Kevin,
yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Where do we stand in terms of new teams this year?
Great question. We don't know yet. It's so exciting because we know that we've got about 7 or 8 teams who have expressed serious interest. None of them have registered yet. However, I mean, their interests seem to be pretty sincere and serious. So we think we're probably going to do okay. We're hoping to go from, we have 96 teams from last year. We're likely to lose a few just because at this point attrition is a little bit normal. But we don't actually know exactly how many we're going to end up with. Did that make any sense at all?
Yeah. Basically. So I mean, if things go the way
we're shooting for 110.
Should be at 100. Well, okay. If what you told me was, so we have 7 or 8 plus another 10. Yeah.
And there are 42 applications in with the state already for the OSPI grant, but we don't know the nature of them or who they were.
And the other question I had was, when you did this survey of possible venues, were you looking for actually venues? I'm sure you were, but venues obviously for this year, but also for the district model?
Yes. And yeah, we were. Well, a lot of this year's focus was actually on. A lot of the focus this year was on finding a venue that we could do a 40-team event at. That's kind of what. So yes, we were sort of looking at it for district event or for district model, but it turns out that those were hard to come by. High schools will do a better job finding high schools. Because there are a lot of very large high schools, but there just aren't that many like college sort of things. And we were a little wary about dropping to, I don't want to say dropping to high school level, but we didn't want teams to feel like they were getting a second-class event by theirs being in a high school and everybody else is being at a university. Did that make any sense whatsoever?
Sure.
Yeah, but we looked at. I'm going to guess we looked at 30 venues. It was exhausting.
So it looks to me like we have about 168 opportunities if things go correctly, the way you're anticipating. 168 spots in the 3 Seattle regionals this year.
Yep.
That's good.
Yep.
So I mean, a lot of teams can play twice. I like that.
Yep. And we're still hoping that we. Okay. So let's talk about strategies for signing up for a venue. If we would love to leave a few extra spots in Seattle because we have teams that like to come here from Mexico and Turkey and from around the country. So our hope is that we'll have at least a couple of extra spots for those folks. And so we're hoping by having 3 events over 3 weekends, people will be able to pick and choose a little better. And if you want to do 2 plays, it might make sense to go to Ellensburg and then wait a week and then go to Spokane. That's something that you got to kind of have to figure out with your team. But I think it would be something that we're hoping that teams will pick. Will choose to go to Ellensburg as their first event, for example, and maybe Spokane for their second. So we're hoping to leave a little room in Seattle for traveling teams.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we got some questions here. Okay, so the PowerPoint, in case you guys are looking for it, is under FRC Resources. It's right up here at the top. There will be a link to I've recorded this. There'll be a link to a video in case somebody needs to see it. Tom is concerned over how the 63 Seattle slots will be allocated. There will be a huge demand for Seattle, yes, indeed. And the first website is always bombed the second it opens. That's just how it works. We'll have to see. There's a lot of about a third of our teams are actually in Eastern Washington, and a lot of them are planning on just going to Spokane. You also see a lot of teams who are going to pick as their first event Portland or one of the other venues. So yeah, you certainly want to, if you definitely want to get into a specific event, you'll want to be there at 9 a.m. on the 27th, I guess. Okay. Any other questions? Let's see, we got, do you know about any, oh. Yeah, so the FTC venues, we're getting close to having them settled, but we're not going to announce anything probably for another week and a half. They will be in December. So come to FTC kickoff and you'll find out what's going on. All right. Any other questions? Do I expect?
I guess I have one more about that.
Tom just asked if we expect the Eastern Washington events to be full after the first pick.
Good question. Honestly, no. I doubt they will. And that's my opinion. I have no facts to back that up, and I have absolutely zero control over it. So if you're, I think part of the interesting strategy of having at least a second-year first team is figuring out where it is that you're going to play and how you're going to, yeah. My opinion, I doubt it will fill up immediately. We're expanding it to 52 teams in all likelihood, and Central will also have 52 teams. So my guess is that it probably won't fill. In fact, actually, some of the pushback that we get from the Eastern Washington teams are that their spring break in the East is that week. So you may end up seeing Ellensburg fill faster than Spokane. Possibility.
It was spring break out here in the West, too, at least for our school. So I think a number of schools, even out here, are on spring break as well, Kevin.
Okay, yeah. Spring breaks are kind of spread all over the place in that area. So, yep. Yeah, so Wapato spring breaks first week of April. So, hey, you might decide, hey, we're going to Central instead. Entirely possible. So I have a feeling we'll have enough plays for everybody. Definitely have enough plays for everybody to play once, and my guess is that we'll have plenty of plays for everybody to play twice. Okay. All right, any other questions?
Oh, Michael asked.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you, Michael. I appreciate that. Students start Tuesday. Oh, that's right. Yes, I hope you all have a nice last weekend. I know some of you have already started. Yeah, it'll be good. All right, everybody. I think we are done. So thank you so much for attending, and we'll look forward to seeing you at a kickoff or webinar very soon. Good night.